we're only on with Elsa and Sabine.
Great.
Hello, Sabine.
Hello.
And hello, Margaret and Joel.
Hello.
Sabine, you're on twice. I think the other Sabine had better leave. And I am going to I'm going to put my camera on. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to refresh myself because Sabine speaks English, but she speaks school English from half a century ago. So she wants me to be the one to introduce her. So I'm going to reread the review so that I have it fresher in my mind. So just give me just one moment.
Das ist jetzt los. Der ist verstanden da. Sehr los.
Okay. I have just had the kind of excitement that happens in today's technological era. I share my condo in the city with several roommates, which is great because it means I can live in the country and have that place. But the power went out. And the power went out because I have a new owner downstairs, co-owner, because I own upstairs, someone else downstairs, brand new owner. He hadn't let Hydro know yet that he's the new owner. So there's no electricity. Well, the oil furnace runs with an electric pump. Takes almost no power, but a tiny little power. You don't have that. You have no heating in the building, and this is Canada. It's minus several degrees. So I was already at 2:30, and I've had a little bit of excitement making one call and another call, and the new owner seems lovely. And like most of us humans, imperfect. It's like, I have a new dog as well. Somebody was moving into a condo, had to get rid of their dog, give up their dog, not get rid of, needed a very good home for it. I'm glad to give it a very good home. On the other hand, this very excitable, enthusiastic, dynamite dog tripped me up and I fell badly and was hardly able to walk for a week. So it was supposed to be, yes, I'd love to have a dog. Oh, a 4-year-old. In other words, the worst of the puppy training is over, but they've got a nice another 10 years ahead of them while they're alive and enthusiastic. And I do like dogs, otherwise I wouldn't want it. My dog died 2 years ago. I missed him a long time, and I'm happy to have another dog. My dog never tripped me up. But I'm just saying that these are all the human everyday things. I'm sure you have your own, and they slow us down. And now I'm still trying to find what I have from you, Sabine, so that I can read here we are. I'm going to open the review. I'm going to open this. Wait a second. Yikes. All right, I think I have enough of it. Okay. But actually, I want to say, I don't know who else is coming there, but this message went out. I don't know who's on YouTube. People who are on YouTube are on YouTube. Anyone can be on YouTube. I'm just going to close this. Okay, so because if anyone shows up on YouTube, they can make a sound and it can be a real mess. So I've closed that. Anyone can be watching on YouTube. And the reason I had that separate is those people don't want to take part. They just want to sit back and say, okay, got some nice poetry, let me listen. You have a nice painting, I want to watch. This is for people who want to get involved. So, Sabina, you have an extra screen open. I don't know if you can close it, because there's an extra. I see two Sabinas in here, but it's okay. Two of you is a very good thing. Okay, why don't we start? I'm going to start by recording. I'm going to push the record. I'll have us introduce ourselves. And here we go. I'll have us introduce ourselves in a couple of minutes. And then what we'll do is we're going to start with a focus on Sabine and on her paintings, her magical fragments of a story that isn't told. Imagine it as you will. But there are things that are not said that I'm curious about. And so maybe you're willing to practice your rusty English a little. I just want to know when are your most recent paintings, and also what are the size? Because it said you do it on paper. So papers could be this size. Paper, you can also buy huge sheets of paper. So I was curious about the size, because it makes a difference if it's 4 feet by 4 feet, more than a 1 meter by 1 meter, or if it's 18 inches by 18 inches and it's a small thing which goes on a bedroom wall, and it's a large thing which goes on in a hallway or a living room. Okay, so I will start now, and there's a record button here, and it's going to say record on this computer. Okay. Hello, this is Elsa, and this is the Creativity Cafe. And today there will be a guest speaker, not a guest speaker, a guest artist who will not be speaking, who will just sit there and smile. And she has delegated me as to be her speaker. And that is because she's not very comfortable in English. She's comfortable listening to it, but she really does not like to be put on the spot. But then her paintings don't need words. And then there's also Margaret, who wrote a poem recently and she'd like to read it. And then there's me, who's always going to be coming with something. So what I am going to do to start it, though, I would like if everyone would say a few words about themselves. I can start. I've always loved creativity, not just one kind. I love to draw as a child. I love to write stories. I love poetry. When I was in grade 7, I wrote a film script. I also wrote a couple of plays. And it's ebbed and flowed all my life. And another passion has been ideas and thinking. But there's more of a straight line in our society. Ideas and thinking, PhD, tenure teaching. You write poetry. Oh, good. Yeah, very interesting. I did manage to get about 60,000 views a month for a long time on the internet. zero earnings. I suppose I could have become a creative writing teacher, but I always hated to touch the writings of others. It felt into the areas of feelings, and I just didn't want to go there. I didn't want to judge somebody else's writings or write about somebody else's writings. I did teach a lot of creative works, and I taught ethics and other things, but really being a creative writer is not a straight line. As I've said, it's not like being a dentist, a doctor, a cobbler, etc. So that is me. Oh, and another thing about me, I love the sharing of things. Like I love to share my stuff, not only online where a lot of people can see it, but in a thing where I can get feedback back and I can hear other people's. And I like to share, love to share your stuff as well. So it's not all just me, me, me. It's like you. What's your creativity like? Sabina, do you dare to be next, or do you want me to put Margaret on the spot as next? Sabina, will you talk next about creativity in you? Okay, I'll pass. Just think about it. Would you say something? And then what about you, Margaret? Did you, you'll have to unmute yourself.
So, Elsa, I could really relate when you talked about wanting to share other people's creativity, that was spawned from them because as a child, creativity was really suppressed in my family, hugely. It was academic excellence that was promoted, mostly because my parents were refugees who came here with nothing from Europe. But there was no balance. It was just you had to be first in your class, and that was it. And I know that's not unlike other people who were refugees. But as a teacher, I really promoted my students to be creative. Somehow it felt like it was something that I really wanted to do because I think it's something we all have, definitely, within us. And it really made me feel good to see little ones. I mostly taught K to 4, but also English as a second language, autistic kids, and so on. But it was something wonderful to enjoy with them. However, over the years, especially the last few years, I felt it's really come out in me a lot more, creativity. I always loved music as a child. It was almost like a divine spark in me, but I was only allowed to take piano lessons from the time I was about 13 on. I wish it would have been younger. I know I'll come back as a concert pianist because I love to share, and a homeopath. Just throw that in. But those are two ways of serving people. But I love to write poetry and also have been asked to write prayers as well, like spiritual, not in a particular religion, but just spiritual. So that's basically my story about creativity.
Well, I'm interested in hearing the poem that you would like to share. And now, Sabina, I want you to dare. What I want you to know is we're safe. We're safe. We all are for you. We don't care how well you speak English. And if you want, you can even say it in German and I'll translate. Because I happen to be, I speak 4 languages and a 5th one so I can easily translate anything you say, Sabine.
Machen wir so.
Okay, we're going to make it like that. Okay, also, wie geht es mit dir und der Kreativität?
Dass ich davon verstehe. Ja,
No,
eigentlich
in deinem eigenen Leben. Wie gibt's in deinem eigenen Leben? In your own life. How has it been in your own life?
dass ich darunter verstehe. Ja, eigentlich gar nichts. Ich mache halt
She understands nothing about creativity. She just does it.
gar nichts.
Yeah, nothing at all.
Das ist ein neues Wort. Das gab es früher gar nicht.
She didn't even know the word. The word didn't exist.
Ist man tut oder tut nicht.
It's just you do or you don't do. Und du hast lange gerne getan, kreative Sachen getan. You like doing creative things.
Ja, jein. Das ist mehr ein Zwang, wenn man die Zeit hat, ne?
It
Das
was
ist,
absolutely a need when she had the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that
This
that'll
is-
be fine as a start. And with this thing, because that's the perfect lead-in for Sabina's need. She needed to do these this artwork. And so I had never done a PowerPoint or, you know, the Mac equivalent. She sent me some of her paintings online, of course, and I put them together. And by way of introduction, what I am going to say is, now I'm just going to go on to me speaker view. And what, like the person who wrote a review of her work, and this is now 30 years ago, so I'm going to turn off my cell phone because I don't want to find out anything in the next hour. Here, just going to turn it off. Goodbye. It just, I left it on because, you know, heating and pipes and stuff. Anyway, labeled it person on a voyage into who knows where. The thing about Sabina is she's basically self-taught. She has taken some classes, but she doesn't follow any style. And she definitely didn't follow the style of 30, 40 years ago, which was non-representational, highly abstract, also very often rigid, rejecting everything from the past, especially in the West. It was less dramatically so in East Germany. But yes, I remember that time, and all theater was thrown out. All of that was dead theater. What we needed now was this thing called living theater, where you would walk around on the stage wearing black as a zombie. I know I was a theater student. And when this new thing, we were introduced to living theater, it was really incredible. I didn't understand it. I don't think the other students did either. But sort of like Bertolt Brecht was dead, living theater was in. I don't know. And so this is the background of highly abstract art that Sabina came to create in. So now what I'm going to do is screen share so you can see some of her paintings. And I had them here. Here we are. Share. Okay, I'm going to go right to there. Sabine Obermüller, person on a journey to an unknown destination. I think the reviewer really caught her. I think that was, when you see this, I see actually person from a story where you don't know where it started, you don't know the ending, you don't know the book, but I do have a sense with all of them that there is a story, so there is a journey. So here, and there are often these spiritual, mystical, maybe angelic, except they're also earthly. What is the figure on the left saying to the figure on the right? Why is that figure looking down? And that's what I'm saying. It feels like there is a story, and we're not told the story. I would ask you, I think your answer will be no, actually. Sabine, did you know the story that you were illustrating, or you just knew the image?
No, nix.
No, she did not know the story.
Nee.
Right. Okay, that's what I would expect, but I could see this as if somebody was illustrating a book of some kind of mystical story. I could see this as like one of 20 in it. So that's one painting. Here is another one. And Sabina apologizes for the scan. As you can see, it's a little bit of the black background shows, but we can still see the whole picture. And again, I have a feeling that there is a story being told. The angel on the right, or angelic figure on the right, or whatever it is sort of looking downward. She seems to be in, and I'm calling it a she, in the middle of something. The one on the left who seems half fainting or looking upward. So I have a very much a sense of something unfolding. In fact, one of the questions I had for myself, for you, Sabina, was something big happening in your life at this time? 1880, 1989, 1991. These are pictures from quite long ago. Was there a huge event that happened? Here's another one. And here there really seems to be an angelic figure looking down, two figures on the earth. What is the angelic figure saying? Is there a message that is coming through? This is me looking at them. I will throw it to Margaret and Joel afterwards, what they see, what they've been seeing in this. Again, I can see that there's a story, there's something being told. There will be a response. Here, as if there were huge gusts of wind, as if the figures on the right will be blown away with this wind. And the figures on the left, they have their hands up. What is this that is coming in? Is it a wind? Is it light? Is there an announcement? And another thought I have is how different it would be to have pictures like this, or a big picture like this, in an entranceway or in a living room or something. What I know is very common these days are very attractive IKEA pictures, and IKEA has really good selection of very nice run-of-the-mill art, and it's very safe. And in Home After Home, I see it. And I think that people have gotten out of the habit of valuing the individually creative, especially something like this, where you don't get a clear idea, and it's not a clear landscape, and it isn't a clear story, and it isn't, you don't quite know. It leaves so much up to the imagination. What is going on with the woman in front? What is going on with the two figures in the back? Is it two lovers? Is it? And then there's the figure watching. Is the figure in the front deliberately looking away from what's going on? And again, as in almost all of them, there's more than one figure. And it's like there's one figure often that seems to be communicating to the other figure. And to me, it looks like the figure who's communicating, that the figure in the front needs something from that figure, that she is very alone and she wants to hear something. But I don't know. It's just coming up from my imagination. And then, of course, you can also just analyze it for light and the lights and the darks and the artistic technique. But I tend to be somebody, I focus a lot on story. Here, what is going on with these figures? And the background, and again, it looks so much like wind. And this is the final picture. Dimmer than many of them. Again, two figures on the left, some figures on the right, columns, a city in the background, as if there were an arch, an opening into where? I think a little bit about a British painter, Turner, with his landscapes, but they're very different. But again, they're very evocative from the, you know, the shapes and everything. And then I will throw it back to you, Sabine. Would you like to say something in German? And I'm going to stop the share.
Zu diesem Bild jetzt.
Zu irgendwelchen. Möchtest du etwas sagen über irgendwelchen? Would you like to say something about any of these pictures?
Ja, es ist halt, wie gesagt, das kommt halt, das weiß ich halt auch nicht richtig, was das sein soll, ne? Das sind so Erscheinungen, ne? Mehr nicht. Und was das bedeutet, weiß ich meistens nicht, ne? Ich kann das deuten, aber mehr auch nicht. Und deswegen muss der Betrachter selber sehen, was ihn da anspricht oder nicht. Oder das kann ich nicht sagen. Das sind praktisch Sachen, die einfach kommen, ne?
The drawings come to her as we see them.
Er ist halt irgendwie wie ein Empfänger, das kommt halt.
Yeah,
Was
they
ist-
come that way. How big are they? Are they small drawings, like 60 centimeters by 60 centimeters, or even 30 by 30? Or are they large, like 100 centimeters by 100? Very large, like 2 meters by 2 meters? What is their size?
Das weiß ich jetzt nicht auswendig, aber das steht, habe ich dir da geschrieben, ne?
Na, aber sag mir, sind es circa ein kleines Stück Papier, groß?
Normal. Also man
Was?
kann sich gut an die Wand hängen, ne? Nicht riesig, klein, das ist schon Arbeiten auf Papier, die macht man nicht, eigentlich nicht so riesig.
Okay, they're on paper, so they're really not very large. Okay.
Ich könnte ja mal nochmal, jetzt weiß ich nicht, ne, finde es jetzt gerade nicht.
Okay, well, she can't find one right now, otherwise she would just show us one. Okay, Margaret and
Elsa,
Joel.
would it be okay if we just said some thoughts that came to us?
A bit of feedback.
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love that.
Yeah, I like, to me, and well, first of all, I really admire artists because it's a talent that I don't have, but I would love to have, maybe my next lifetime. But that's something that's so beautiful. And some of my siblings and my father were really good at drawing people and, you know, all sorts of lovely scenes. I can admire them, but not draw them myself. But something I saw was, this is what came to my mind, was how complex life is, because the more you looked into it, the more different thoughts and ideas came to my mind. And they looked very mysterious, and some of them almost looked like you were going into a portal. And some of them looked like it was very windy, or people had to move fast, or maybe some of the lines in it was that people were trying to get away, or change, or that's anyway how it affected me, what came to my mind.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was reminded of a reviewer who reviewed J.R.R. Tolkien's Hobbit and Lord of the Rings trilogy, which followed. And a lot of people compared his writing, which was done before World War II primarily, as sort of a forecast of what was going on in Europe in the 30s and so on, 1930s. And he said, when asked, "Oh, no, 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 that's not really the case. It's purely a coincidence." But the more you look at it, the more parallels you can draw. And where I'm going with this is the reviewer said the winds of change were blowing over Europe, and your works, your writings reflect that in the story of Middle Earth. And when we looked at the images from Sabine just now, the different paintings and pictures, as was mentioned, many of them have a wind, like a theme of there's a gust of wind blowing or a storm or something like that. And I think of it as a series of depictions of the winds of change. Not much of an art critic, but that's what occurs to me.
Not about being an art critic.
Das
It's
ist
about
very
our
interesting.
truth.
Maybe, aber so habe ich das alles noch nie gesehen. Aber es ist interessant, wie das auf manche Menschen wirkt. Ne? Also ich habe das in meiner Ausstellung auch schon erlebt, dass da ein älterer Mann einfach da stand und heulte nur noch. Ne?
She's had
Und
the
ich
experience.
wusste aber auch nicht, warum.
Sabine, give me pauses between your sentences. Not everyone speaks German. And she has never heard her artwork described like with the wind and stuff the way you did. But she sees how people respond differently, such as she was at an exhibit of one of her works, and an old man stood in front of one of her paintings and just cried and cried.
Wow.
What did that touch in him? But it was just letting what was in him and connected to the work. Now, Sabine, du kannst weiter sprechen. You can speak further.
Oh.
Would you have something else to say, Sabine? Ist es jetzt?
Ja,
Du kannst.
ich habe es jetzt auch wieder nicht richtig verstanden. Was soll ich jetzt sagen?
It's not that you should. It's just if you have more thoughts, if you have something more to say, we'd love to hear it. Solltest du mehr haben zu sagen? Sag es, wir hören es gerne.
Ja. Also bei diesem letzten Bild, da habe ich einen Titel gemacht. Und das heißt 18. Jahrhundert. Ne? Und ich würde mal sagen, da hätte ich sowas wie die Französische Revolution im Kopf gehabt.
Mm.
Und
Give me a pause. Let me translate because I can't hold long things in my mind. About some of the last ones, she would have called them 1800, and she might have had the French Revolution in mind. Okay. Zurück zu dir, Sabine. Back to you.
You have the women in dresses and long dresses, you know, and there comes the angel of death, the black, over us.
Yeah.
And you are right with Turner. It's just the time. Just the same time where Turner lived, no?
Yeah, late 19th century.
18th century.
No, late 19th. He was 1875, 18. No, late.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same kind of flowy movement, and yeah.
Yeah, I love them. Him.
I found them very powerful. I've been to a Turner exhibit at the Tate Gallery in London. They had a huge amount of constables, which I also really liked, and then a huge amount of Turners. And you could just sit in front of one for a long time, or I could just sit in front of one for a long time. but I didn't have a long time. I did that for a couple of paintings, but the rest is like, I have 50 paintings to get through and 1 hour. So
Yikes.
Aber der ist im Museum, es geht's halt nicht anders, ne?
exactly, that's the way it is in a museum. Exactly.
And the painter I love is also Johann Heinrich Füssli. He lived in England also at the time, ne?
Okay,
And
you also,
he comes from Switzerland, and there are figures and also ich bin da schon von dem ein bisschen beeinflusst oder Blake.
okay, so
Will you-
that was an influence. Füssli from Switzerland, lived in England, and that could be not a copying, but it could be an influence on you. Okay, I'm going to bring it over now to Margaret with her poem. So Margaret, very, very different. So if you wanted to say a last few words, Sabine, you can. Otherwise, we'll give it to Margaret. So Sabine, hast du noch etwas that you want to say?
Ja, jetzt fällt mir gerade nichts mehr ein.
Nothing is coming to mind. Well, the thing is, if you have other pictures, you can come back another time, or you can just come back with one picture that you want us to spend time on. Because today was like an overview of 8 pictures. But that's like seeing 8 Turners. But each Turner would have, you know, what does that mean? And like one can spend a longer time on one piece. Okay, so Margaret, I'm going to pass it over to you and your poem.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to preface it by saying that for my
I have a question actually,
Oh,
Margaret. I'm not seeing below your mouth. You could raise yourself up or put a pillow on
here, honey. Okay, thank you. Yes,
Great, because I'd much rather see all of your face
thank
than
you.
what's above your head.
Those little guys.
Oh, that's so much better.
Thank
That's
you.
so much better.
I'm sort of like an elf. I'm 4'10", so
Cushions do everything.
cushions do everything. You got it. So, I just want to say that usually what percolates during the day, somehow I feel divinely inspired at night, almost that words are channeled through me, whether it's a prayer or a poem. And many times later on, when I'm reading my poem or prayer, especially poem, I would say to Joel or to my family, like I'm saying, did I write that? And so, and I know Wayne Dyer and other people say that they feel that's occurred with them as well. So, okay. So here's the poem that I'm sharing today. And just to give context, I composed this in November 2023. So that was, before the holidays, before December. And it's entitled Peace, Love, and Hope. What an intriguing season on which we're about to embark. Glorious, challenging, beautiful, yet desolate and stark. Times rapidly changing, people awakening. Thoughts and understanding aligning and straightening. Do you feel the shift continuing to take shape? From divisions and battled fronts, we're beginning to escape. Celebrations of religious and cultural special days abound. Wondrous connections with relatives and innumerable friends resound. Although for me, the unbidden winter chill is difficult to endure, the elegance of a snow-carpeted scene is delightful and demure. It's heartening to observe people returning to virtues of old, retrieving essential principles, truth, freedom, love, and service. These were once extolled. Please nestle in your hearts what miraculous results kindness can invoke. Hope, support, and an achievable path forward. These are likely to evoke. Let us pray for a golden age to envelop our resplendent earth. We'll generate great beauty and together create a magnificent rebirth. And that's it.
So much wishes and so much hope that we're going to get together for a rebirth.
Well, there's been a deficit on the planet for the last 4 years in particular.
Yes.
And hope and ambition and desire has been sucked out of our lives, dare I say. And we need to refuel. And this is a source of that for us.
I totally agree. And that's also one of the reasons I started the Creativity Cafe. I believe we're pushed away from creativity, which is one way of returning to center, nourishing ourselves. Just taking in more facts is not going to do it.
Right.
You know, and a better supplement, you may need another supplement, you may need selenium or whatever it is. But selenium will not give you what you're talking about, hope, healing the divisions. And yes, the last few years have been extremely challenging, and right now it is not very easy either. As you know, I'm sure there's a trial going on in Germany.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that is one of the many things that is going on. And for each little thing, what we're hoping is that each little thing will be a win. But we are dealing with hard times. We're dealing with, if you're in the United States, your crazy southern border, your all of our judicial systems, legal systems, government systems. So there's so much.
Yeah.
And yet in the midst of that, it's like, do you know the song that's just coming to mind? There's a rose in Spanish Harlem.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
da, 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 Spanish. Yes, I
Harlem.
know the tune.
Yeah.
And it's like it comes up between a crack in Spanish Harlem. Something I don't know how it grows. You know it better than I do, I think. You can go ahead with it.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking I'm the humorous one of the couple. Margaret has divine inspiration and poetry and everything. I was just thinking of a song from the 70s, and I don't remember many of the words, but I remember the title. And I think it's the one our prime minister says to the head of the World Economic Forum every night before he goes to bed. And the song is called I'm Your Puppet.
Oh,
It makes me laugh.
Sorry, too political.
no, but we need it. We need
You really
laughter.
make me. There's how about the song "There's a Crack in Everything"? That's how the light gets
It's
in.
Yes. Oh,
Leonard
that's
Cohen.
beautiful.
Anthem.
That's given me hope as well. And at this point, I also want to say thank you so much for helping to support and for spreading it out that we all support the people we love and believe in, such as Reiner Fulmich and so on. And you sent us his address, and we're writing him, and we've sent it out to all the freedom groups we belong to, and say, please, just like the Coots 4 in Canada, we need to support these beautiful people, who are at the end of sort of the whipping, board, and because times are tough, so we have to use our spirituality, our humanity, to lift each other up and to support each other.
By the way, there's something I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Roger Bittel, as you may know, I've been watching him every Sunday, and then I translate it because he has more access to Reiner than I do. And I send out my updates, in part drawing on that and anything else I've gotten. By the way, Sabina is one of the people who sends me things. She looks more at things in German. She sends me things. And but what he's done in a lot of his things, he takes a pause of silence. And I thought, and in fact, a couple of days ago, I woke up, and this should really appeal to both of you, that we just and I tried starting this another time, but I think now may be the right time. And he always has his program at 2:00, and it goes on however long it goes on. And it's over by 3. So I was going to do it at 3, but I said, that's too late. It should be like 2:30. That anybody who wants to just comes for 15 minutes of silence or prayer or meditation or energy for Reiner, for the planet, for however you want to do it, but that we don't do it only alone, that we do it together.
Yes. Lovely.
Sounds wonderful.
Okay, I may actually get you there. I don't know. Is one of you on YouTube? One of you is on YouTube. Close your browser.
Nice.
Close the
Moment.
browser. Okay, because what it is it's getting a feedback loop from it. So what I can do is if I mute you, maybe you, Sabina. Okay, see, I've muted the two of you. The sound is gone. Okay, what it is when if you have YouTube open, it plays about 10 seconds later because it's channeled to YouTube, and it plays around, but it doesn't matter. I have muted you right now so that I can in fact see. You'd have to unmute yourself, but instead of going on to that, I am going to take about 10 minutes for poems here. And my poems started, or my spoken word or my word pieces started in 1994, just about within a couple of months after I finished my PhD. So I had always loved creative things, and then I got into my MA and then my PhD, and I loved doing them. So I just thought somehow or other, this more grown-up part of me, or this thinking part of me, maybe that's really where it's at. So I really wasn't expecting to move to this. And when I had written before, I had never written songs, spoken word poetry. I had written stories mainly or done artwork. But anyhow, about May 1994, I started getting just about one a day. But this one was earlier. A friend was being a TV producer to a small show for teens, and he was thinking about it kind of a rap kind song. And so thinking about what could he do, I came to these words which I saw as coming from a teenager, but I think actually they are for so many of us, and they're about almost giving up, but not quite giving up. And this is how they go. I give in, I give up, I knuckle under, almost. I wish that you could tell me true what to do, or almost. I have a dream and it does seem I could make it real, almost. I wonder now if you could tell me how to live my life, yet let me be. It's my life, for me to mess up or not to. Oh, I don't know which way to go because I'm confused. I give in, I give up, I knuckle under, almost. I've had enough. Times are tough. I want things to happen now. I want to know which way to go. I know the lines. Give it time, some things are fine. Don't turn to crime, don't suck a lime. Don't spend your last dime. Don't worry, be happy. And I roll my eyes and I despise those lines. Yet then I try again. And I find things go okay if I give them time. And if I try to hang loose and to choose to do my best, or almost. As for the rest, who can tell? What the hell? Kung fu to you. So much for the blues, the blahs, the blobs, the flus. They say a lot is up to me. Well, I will see if I can't reach something. So each of us will say, hey, dude, cool, or at least something that would make me feel good. And I could say, hey, dude, cool, have a blast, life's a gas, razzmatazz, or almost. But then I'm too blue. It's no use. I'm through, or almost. I give in, I give up, I knuckle under. Almost. I say to myself, so only I can hear, hang in there in the middle of nowhere when no one cares, because then there's a chance. Yeah, sometimes I have a dream. And then I try again and I find that things go okay. If I give them time and if I try to hang loose and to choose to do my best, or almost. So that was the first piece that I wrote. And I wasn't expecting more at all because I'd never done it before. And I did this for a friend and he never used it, but I thought about it, came to me and I could hear it with a rappy beat. It was a really big changing time in my life. I got my PhD. I had a romance that didn't work out. And as it wasn't working out, I started writing lots of other pieces, including this one, which is a country and western one. It's also very, very early. When was this? I don't know, May, let's say 2 months later. Don't waste my time. It's all that's mine. Don't hold me close just to be kind. Don't give me hope if you plan to leave. It isn't even remotely fine. Don't pull me close, then let me go. Don't draw me near, then disappear. Don't play with me. It hurts, you see. Don't think just of you. I'm in this too. This isn't a dance, but 2 lives, 1 romance. You come, you go. I need to know. Does our loving have a chance? Yet there needs to be space for uncertainty. So where's the place to wonder at ease, to come and go, to get to know, to be unsure? I'm sure I don't know. I know though, don't waste my time. It's all that's mine. Don't pull me close just to let me go. If you deceive, maybe yourself, not just me, it isn't even. Just a white lie. It isn't fine. This isn't a dance, but 2 lives, 1 romance. You come, you go. I need to know, does our loving have a chance? Don't play with me. It hurts, you see. And in the end, it angers me. All I can say is you pull away just once more, and it's over, for sure. That's the score. As they say in another game, 3 strikes, and you're out. It's over, you're out, that's it. So don't waste my time. And there's another one where I ran out of paper. I'm going to see if it's printed. But in the meantime, there was a little thing that I wrote, which I thought could be fitting a lot with us dealing with people who won't listen. You think that you know, but you don't know. You think that you have, but you've been had. You think that you're good. No, you are bad. You think that you're fast. You are damn slow. You think that you know, but you don't know. You think that you have. You're so smart, but you've been had. So, and one thing is, it doesn't reach people. You say that, you think, but it's true. They so often think that they know, and they don't know. So I'm going to see if I put in a couple of pages. I'll see if it printed. And that will be the last one. Whoops. Oh my God, what's going on here? I'm smelling something not right. Yes. What is this? I was asking myself. I smell something burning, but there's nothing in my toaster oven. I figured it out. not dangerous, but it's the kind of thing that happens when you're doing too many things. I put on water for tea because I like tea. I still have a pot for the water for tea. The water is no longer in the pot because it's been going all this time that we've been here. And it got a smoky kind of smell. So I'm just letting that pot cool down. And I don't know if the pot is wrecked or the pot is stainless steel. It should be salvageable. But anyway, this is another piece I wrote, and I wrote this October 1994. So a few months after I got started. And it's something that I think fits with a lot of us who feel that our lives are smaller than is right for us. And it's called Restless. I don't know if you can relate to it, but I certainly can. Well, obviously it's from me. But even all these years later, I'm still keep struggling for a bigger life. This is how it goes. I feel like a snake getting ready to shed an old skin. The old skin's not quite ready to crack. The new one's too thin. Restless, restless. The snake feels restless. Nothing feels right. Skin too tight. Restless, ready to strike. Needing to shed the old skin. I feel like a tiger pacing in a cage, a Siberian tiger prowling around a small compound, all that power just prowling around, restless, restless. The tiger feels restless, feeling every muscle ready to pounce, but nothing to pounce on. So just prowling around, restless, needing space to more than pace, even needing space to more than pounce, needing to roam around, restless. I feel like a woman within too small a life. She's got to make a new one, but she's holding herself tight. Restless, restless. The woman feels restless, pacing in her home, prowling alone. Restless, she's got to make her break. Her life is at stake. Make no mistake. Restless. And that is it. And then I go on. In fact, I see in the last page when I went back to it a few weeks later, and I go, helpless, not just restless. The tiger prowls, helpless to more than prowl, nose to the ground, needing more, but helpless, powerless, but helpless to get out of the compound. The woman isn't helpless. Hapless, but not helpless. Awkward, but not helpless. Sometimes hopeless, often frightened and hurt, but too restless to stay at home. And not helpless. She's a woman, not a tiger, not a snake. Maybe I can get out of my old skin. And that's it. So, you have any comments? I am not all ears, but I do have 2 ears.
I was going to say, it felt like you were sort of bursting to get out your feelings and how life had sort of instructed you what you were going through at that time, and you really, really wanted to share that with whoever's there. I mean, I even did that as a teacher. I wrote poetry, but nobody knew it came from me for my students, because I was just bursting to sort of share with them and to promote their own creativity, because that feels good in you, right? When you
Yeah,
promote
sure.
other people's gifts. So yeah, but I can relate to a lot of what you were saying.
Well, I think the way life is set up, it's too small for many of us. Because we humans, it's meant that we lead larger lives. And it doesn't mean that life is bad. We can have all the things we're supposed to have, but it's like, where are the mountains to climb or whatever, but It may be that our spirituality isn't developed, or it may be that our creativity isn't developed. It may be that, that we can just have feeling that there's something more. And taking a trip and lying on a beach for 2 weeks, or going to Europe and looking at 42 cathedrals.
Yeah,
That's interesting. That's fun, but that doesn't still the hunger.
right. It's like we're really suppressed, we're really confined for a whole plethora of reasons, maybe some within ourselves, some without, but yes, it definitely feels, even as we're finding more and more people who are on side with us now, but there's a lot of infiltration. People have to be discerning. So you still feel like suppressed, and, you have to have this huge amount of caution as well. So,
There really is reason for caution. Because look, Reiner's big thing, his Achilles heel, is that he was not cautious about the
yes,
people around him. So it is so important. And then within us, our Achilles heel can be that we've been bent to see certain things or not. Like I easily saw the dangers of Islam because I wasn't brought up to be very positive about religion. So when I heard about, Islam not being very good, it just fit with my kind of, view that many religions are dangerous, not a problem. But climate, I'd always cared about, recycle this. I like long before it was common.
right.
So I, for a long time, I totally believed in, the world is going to boil to death within 10 years. The Al Gore story, the hockey stick story, because I was vulnerable to that. And so it's really important that, yeah, that, and then the thing is that not everyone's hopeless. I was willing to learn. I went to see a movie, Cool It, that made a wedge in my learning. And from there, I went and I learned lots of other things. But yes, right now there's so much on the Middle East where people line up on two sides and hate each other and insult each other. And I find that there's so much said that doesn't, that just shows that people are closed-minded.
And so indoctrinated. I mean, we had our biases before we were born, but I think, like, you sound like us in that we're always open to learning, to stretching ourselves, to try to come to, what the truth is. I heard what you said about Islam, and well, we so relate to that, and we just so feel that war does not solve anything, and plus you have the same people who are financing both sides, of the war. There's
Yeah,
so much evil going on. And of course this is done on purpose to divide us and distract us, and all those things, and people are dying. What's
and then
solved?
yeah, and then you go, okay, but sometimes it's like very confusing. Now, all these years later, 9/11, I saw the Judy Wood video, Andrew Johnson, the directed energy weapon. But at the time, first of all, it was the planes, and then it was bombs and building inside job. So what is really going on is sometimes pretty difficult. And right now, when I was looking at the Middle East thing, I don't know about you, but the original break, that huge gap was there, doesn't make sense. That it was there for a long time, it doesn't make sense. And I go, who engineered this? Who engineered also the massacre of so many Israelis? I think about the predators because they were the ones behind the 9/11 as the directed energy weapons.
And Hawaii.
Yes, exactly. And so I'm going, how is that, and who's mind taken in, etc. And I saw the thing where they were going to have aid trucks into Gaza, and then families from hostages said, no, bring me back my daughter.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I was going,
Yeah.
all that they were saying is 100 people. Give us 100 worthless people, because these are not military commanders. These are not spies. These are just like somebody's grandmother, somebody's, these are like nobodies. They don't have like, if they thought they were valuable, they killed them. So these are any old people. And I'm going, what is it that for Hamas, 100 people who are basically like, they're not high value people, but they are holding on to those hostages. I can be on the other side. On the other side, that's what I would say too. Give me back my sister, brother, daughter, mother, aunt, uncle, neighbor. Give me back those people, and then you'll get all the aid you like, but bring them back. And I don't know where you stand on that. That to me was my gut feeling. If it had been my relative, I would have said, stop it.
Sure. It's just so inhumane. I don't even think they're human. I just can't understand like how people are so disposable. And saw the same in Hawaii. And yet the rich people painted whatever the paint was, the blue paint or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
mhm.
yeah,
The thing is, for whoever is engineering it, humans are disposable.
yeah,
The people who were murdered. And so I'm going, and in the end, like the people who hate, like Hamas, and the people in Gaza who hate, those are humans.
yeah.
They've been indoctrinated to hate. That needs to stop. So anyway, I'm like, but I'm going, what's it for? Because what it's doing, it means that people focus their energy, they focus their attention, and it's like a magician. Where are you not looking?
Yeah.
Like it sounds like we're on the same page and on the same page and on the same page.
Yeah. And like, I mean, the caliphate, people don't realize this is the goal,
Mhm.
the whole world. And that doesn't mean that there aren't some people who are, who aren't more peaceful. But if you look at the whole picture, that's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and in the middle of all that, like your poem, you're trying to live with hope and caring,
Yeah.
and your husband with comedy.
Yeah. Thank God for it. Because, we have well, both of our kids are vaccine injured. My father was a doctor, so we never looked into it. That was our shortcoming, our mistake, our biases, our indoctrination.
So
Now.
did you get vaccinated as well?
Oh, I did, and I totally know, and using my intuition a lot, more now. As an adult, I let myself use it, and I'm learning.
No, but did you get the injections
No,
for
no,
COVID?
no, not COVID at all. But even way before, I know I had so many side effects, and middle ear disease, and then you got antibiotics, and then all the side effects. And I'm just one of millions and billions of people, because it's so evil, the drug companies. So you know.
So
But
you learned the hard way by having two vax. How badly vaccine injured are your kids?
Well, especially our son. Our daughter is able to work. In fact, Joel just went to bring her to work, and they're both really brilliant. But the thing is, what happened after, at the time they gave a grade 7 children, so that they would be about 13, 3 Hep B shots, right? And so they had both mercury and aluminum. And they gave them 3 months and 4 months apart. And we just saw this smart kid at the top of his class. He was a rep soccer player, just totally turn around. So then he went to a psychiatrist, an adolescent psychiatrist, and that started the whole psychotropic drugs destroying your brain journey. And I tried so hard to fight, but not being a doctor, they wouldn't at all listen. And I said, like, I'm the mother, I'm with them 24/7. I love them. That's where I come from. You're only with them 45 minutes a week. And so anyway, Anyway, fast forward to now, he's 38 and he's just slowly starting to come around, but this really, really brilliant, compassionate human being. Like, we were so grateful to have these two kids, you know, gifts from God. And we're just trying to, you know, with naturopath and detox and all this, to really help him. And he's just starting to open up a bit. It's you're fighting so many things at the same time, but like I say, without God, and Joel, and we're so lucky to have good friends. I couldn't do it on my own. So being supported, I just feel we're way luckier than so many other people. As a teacher, how you saw kids like just go downhill from the beginning of my teaching career in the 70s till when I ended in 2019. There are so many ways, not only vaccines, but you know, from the geoengineering, chlorine, fluoride, you know, the TV, all the 5G, you name it, all these things going on. It's a plethora of ways of assaults.
Yeah, and then there's also the peer group. The peer group that I went to school with, there was the tiniest bit of drugs. Wasn't around me, but I knew that there was the tiniest bit of drugs. But it wasn't a usual thing or a regular, you know, in other words, it was the end of the drug-free era. Well, that isn't the case right now.
Oh
It's
no.
totally, totally different.
Yeah, along
So,
with the sexual perversions and you know, soji, and oh, it's ugly and disgusting, horrendous.
mhm, yeah.
But
Well,
we
what
have to
I'm
have
going to do is I'm going to pull us back to being, well, I don't want us to go down that rabbit hole right
no,
now.
no,
No,
absolutely not.
I
No.
wanted to thank you, Sabine, and you, Margaret, and
Thank
Joel, who's gone
Absolutely.
off to drive your daughter to work. Um, and I want to thank you for coming and sharing your creativity. And I want to ask you, Sabine, you shared your creativity. What was that like for you, having us watch your stuff? And then you switched over from showing your stuff to hearing other people's. What was the switch like for you? You can answer in English or German. Sabina, you'll have to unmute. What was that like for you, showing your creativity and then listening to other people? What was that like?
Still muted.
Are you still muted? You're still muted. You know what? I know that you're very shy, Sabina, so I will let you be. And if we hear you, we will. And then you, Margaret, you both listened to my stuff, watched Sabina's stuff, and shared your stuff. What was that like for you?
I just absolutely love it. I love sharing hearts and minds and learning. It's always for me, the heart is first, just the way God made me. But I just love it. And like I say, drawing and that is not something that's a talent for me. So I really appreciate that in others. And I loved hearing your poetry. I love your Truth Summit, Elsa. All what you do is amazing. I've listened to you a lot. I've seen Reiner talk for the first time in ages in his little short clip. So that was beautiful because our hearts are so with him. And I love the whole experience very much. Thank you for
Right.
that.
You're very welcome. So at this point, what I'm going to say is thank you for being here. I hope you're back next week. If you have something else to present, or Sabine, if you want to present like one painting to have us consider it. And Margaret, if you have, I know you have lots more poems, and I know I have lots and lots more.
All right.
And maybe another time what I'll do is I'll pause after one and let people take that in, because this time it was like 4 of them, and then you had a lot in the meantime, I'll say goodbye for this week. Take good care, and may it be a very good week for all of us.
Thank you so much, and right back at you, and let's be hopeful.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, love to all.
Love to all.
Great to be with you.